Hello everyone, and welcome to today's live Zoo to You. My name is Katie. I'm an educator here at the Stone Zoo, and today we are celebrating a very exciting day. It is International Sloth Day. So we are with 3 of our Linne's two-toed sloths here at Stone Zoo. We're going to be feeding them, talking all about them. So if you have any sloth questions, please feel free to type them in the comments and we will do our best to answer them during our video. So today I am joined by Nero, who is our adult male two-toed sloth. And Nero is 17 years old. He actually just celebrated a birthday last month. He is paired together with Lunesta, our female. We'll kind of slowly make our way over to her. Slowly as a sloth. Lunesta is sleeping, but we'll see if she wants to maybe wake up for some of their favorite treats. And Nero and Lunesta were paired together through a breeding program in zoos called a Species Survival Plan, or SSP as we like to call it. And these breeding programs are in place to ensure healthy genetics in offspring in zoo populations. So Lunesta came to us from the Biodome in Montreal. So she's our French-Canadian sloth. And Nero is from the Tulsa Zoo in Oklahoma. They both came to Stone Zoo, and their SSP, their breeding program, has been very successful. They have now had 5 offspring together, including Taco, who is snoozing right down below. Taco is our newest sloth addition. She is just over a year old and was born right here at Stone Zoo. So you can see, hopefully, that she's a little bit smaller still than Nero and Lunesta, but she is very quickly becoming fully grown. This is actually the first week that Taco has been fully off of Lunesta. So sloths, as they are born and grow into juveniles, they will spend most of their time hanging out on mom, sleeping right on mom, which is pretty easy when they're a baby and they're very small, but as they get bigger, it's a little bit more work for mom to move around with those sloth babies. So I'm sure Lunesta is probably feeling pretty relieved to have Taco off on her own, getting ready to do her own thing. Now, sloths are typically solitary animals, and that means that they like to spend a lot of time by themselves. Usually, you'll only see 2 sloths together if it is a mom and her offspring. But Nero and Lunesta just get along really well, and we are able to keep them together in the same exhibit. Now that means when Taco is fully grown and is all done and is ready to be on her own, she will eventually be moved into a different exhibit. So just to kind of mimic those family structures that they would have out in nature as well. And as we're talking a little bit about our individual sloths, I want to share a little bit about their stories because I think they're really special, especially Nero's story. So when Nero came to Stone Zoo, he settled in really well. And after some time, our zookeepers noticed some abnormal behaviors. He was very lethargic and sleepy, even for a sloth. So that's really saying something. They sleep around 18 hours a day. His appetite had decreased and he had lost a pretty significant amount of weight. So our really amazing veterinary team, happy Vet Tech Appreciation Week to our techs, they came in and did some blood work on Nero, and he was actually at that time diagnosed with leukemia. And this was the first time that we know of that it's ever been observed in sloths and that it's ever been treated. So Nero went through a around 6 months of chemotherapy here at the zoo, and he has been in remission and cancer-free ever since. So that goes to show you the really incredible care that our sloths receive here at the zoo and how life-saving that can be when there is a medical issue like Nero's that he had. And let's talk a little bit about sloths out in nature too. Sloths are considered to be an umbrella species, which I think is a really, really cool term. And that means that protecting sloths and their habitat is going to protect lots of other species too. Lots of people know sloths, lots of people love sloths, and lots of people want to help sloths. So when we help sloths in their natural habitat, we're helping lots of other animals that share that same habitat. Linne's two-toed sloths are a tropical species. They are found in central and the very northern part of South America. And in those tropical rainforests, there are incredibly high levels of biodiversity, lots and lots of different species of plants and animals. Tropical rainforests are also, unfortunately, being deforested and being cut down. As humans move, we need places to build roads and buildings and land for agriculture, and that impacts lots of species, including sloths. One of the biggest threats to sloths and other arboreal animals that are spending their time up in trees is figuring out how to cross the road. As we fragment sloths' habitats and build roads through that tropical rainforest, it becomes really difficult for animals that spend time in trees to figure out how to get to the other side. Sloths do not have muscles for walking. They cannot walk upright like a cat or a dog might. Instead, they really have to drag themselves along the ground. So crossing the road takes a significant amount of time, and it can be incredibly dangerous. So something that's being done out in their habitat, bridges are being built, like rope bridges, and there are projects underway to insulate telephone wires. There are already telephone wires on either side of the road, going right over the road, and as they're insulated, it becomes another safe way for animals to cross the road. So, do we have any sloth questions? If you're watching live and have some questions, please feel free to type them in the chat. But I can talk a little bit about some frequently asked questions we get about our sloths here at the zoo. So, a lot of folks want to know if sloths can actually swim. I think sometimes that's seen as a little bit of a myth, considering the fact that they're usually up in trees. Sloths are incredible swimmers, and they will use swimming in bodies of water as a way to find new sections of habitat or a mate, but to also escape predators. So if there was a predator nearby, like a jaguar or a really large snake, other cat species, the sloths can actually drop out of the trees into the water and swim to safety. So they are really great swimmers. Another question I get pretty frequently is about our little friend here in the sloth exhibit, and we're panning over so you can get a good look at him. This is Nutmeg, and Nutmeg is a type of animal called a red-rumped agouti. They do live in the same general area as sloths do out in nature, and agoutis are ground-dwelling. They spend all their time hanging out on the ground. Our sloths spend almost all of their time up in the branches, so they're able to use the same exhibit in different levels of the exhibit. It's also really good enrichment for them. They get to experience life with a different species, and they get to interact in their own ways, which I think is really great. It's also really great for our visitors, since we have learned that sloths can sleep up to 18 hours a day. They might be sleeping when you visit, and it is really cool to get to see another animal kind of moving all around this enclosure as well. So if you would like to see the sloths in person and want to visit the zoo, I really suggest coming and trying to count all 3 sloths. You might also be interested in visiting this weekend for Boo at the Zoo, which is our Halloween event. It is happening Saturday and Sunday this weekend from 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock. There are going to be costume contests, trick-or-treating, obviously all of our amazing animals, just like Nero, Lunesta, and Taco. There's also going to be free valet service and shuttles to other parking areas, so parking will be a breeze as well. So thank you all so much for joining us today for International Sloth Day, and we hope to see you all at the zoo soon. Bye!